The darkness hovered above, even on the brightest of days. The people of the land of Newcastle lived in fear, knowing that the bad things could come for them at any moment, but having to go on about their lives anyway. It had long been prophesied that a king would soon come to save them, but the wait was agonizing. Days passed, and then months. The bad things still hung over Newcastle, keeping the people's spirits always dark. They continued to hope that the king would find his way to them, but instead, it was only a jester that showed up. One day, out of nowhere, a silly man began dancing in the streets. He was dressed in colorful, weird clothes. He laughed and danced and picked flowers for the ladies and made simple toys for the children. The villagers thought he was strange, but he made almost everyone smile at some point. As the months passed, the villagers would look forward to the jester's antics. They would gather around him in the middle of town and laugh at his silly slapstick and applaud his simple magic tricks. But the people still longed for the king to appear. He would finally make the bad things go away. Now, the jester was just a silly spectacle to the people of Newcastle, except for one little girl named Charlie. She was fascinated with the jester. She would watch his antics every day and laugh with delight. Whenever the flowers were in bloom, the jester would make sure to pick a special, extra beautiful one to put in Charlie's hair as she watched his silliness. The months turned into years. The jester would entertain the villagers every day, rain or shine, and Charlie would be there every moment. As she got bigger, on some of the days where there was a bad downpour, Charlie would hold a large umbrella over the jester's head as he danced and sang. The people of the land of Newcastle never gave up hope that their king would someday arrive. The dark, scary things stayed ever present, but they held firm in the belief that their king would eventually show up to save them all. And now, several decades had passed. Charlie had grown into a beautiful woman. The jester still performed every day to the delight of the villagers. He had become an old man, but he battled the pain in his joints and muscles, never allowing anyone to see his discomfort as he danced and played. Charlie accompanied him every day, but now, along with her joy, was a touch of fear and sadness. She knew him better than any, and despite his brave front, she knew that his days were growing short. But she, like her jester, wouldn't let him see her pain. When a tear would come to her eye as she noticed the jester struggling to get back to his feet after a stunt, she would turn and look away so no one would recognize her worries. One day, while entertaining the children with a tumble, the jester had significant trouble getting up. At first, Charlie lurched forward to help him, but she quickly stopped herself. She knew nothing would hurt the jester more than being unable to entertain. Charlie turned away so no one could see her beginning to cry. She looked to the sky, and then suddenly, through eyes clouded with tears, she saw it. The bad things just flew away. Just like that, they were gone. And for the first time in decades, the sun fell upon Newcastle, unimpeded by the ominous shapes of the bad things. The villagers were stunned silent at first, and then they burst into cheers and laughter. They hugged one another and cried with joy. The darkness was gone. The jester looked up into the sky and took in the sight of a clear, bright future. He smiled and began packing up his bag of tricks and treats. Everyone in the village paused from their celebration and watched the jester pack his pouch of joyful trinkets. Tears began streaming down Charlie's face as it hit her. With a voice overwhelmed by emotion, she shouted, "You're the king!" The jester smiled. He approached Charlie and touched her face. He brushed away her tears as he said, "When I came here, I knew I couldn't defeat the bad things. If I were to fight them, I would have only endangered all of you. I knew I had to outlast them and get you all through the dark times. So, by dancing and singing and playing and being silly, I was able to make you smile and forget, even for a moment, about the bad things that were threatening you. And now, you have all made it through. Well done. Charlie was overwhelmed. You saved us, she said. The jester shook his head. No, he said. You all defeated the bad things by not allowing them to terrorize you into hopelessness. I was just a simple, foolish king. But now you can take your rightful place as our king, Charlie said. We'll build you a castle and take care of you every day. And the jester shook his head. No, I am old. My time is near. You are all safe, and I am happy. He reached deep into his bag and said, Besides, you all have your queen now. And the jester pulled out a crown and gently placed it on Charlie's head. The jester smiled, kissed Charlie on the cheek, and began walking out of town. The villagers parted to allow him through, patting him on the back and thanking him as he left. The jester made his way to the top of a tall mountain that overlooked the land of Newcastle. He spent his remaining days there, watching them every day and smiling the most contented smile a person could wear.